Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Connect Africa. We have a breaking news that African refugees who were trying to cross the Mediterranean Sea have died, at least 50 of them, as the vessel that was carrying the refugees has caught a fire. This happened in Libya. Let me just share the news with you. The news is it happened actually few hours ago. As you can see the headline, at least 50 died after vessel carrying Sudanese refugees catch fire of Libya. Now, totally, the vessel was carrying 75 Sudanese refugees, so that means around 24 people, according to the report, 24 people have survived. So one is still, that makes it actually 51 people have died of this fire. Now, the medical support has been provided to the survivors, to the 24 of them. This is by the International Organization for Migration. So, according to IOM, quote, urgency action is needed to end such tragedies at sea. That's the report, what's IOM written on X. Now, last month alone, that is in August, 68 refugees of migrants died and dozens more went missing after a boat capsized off the coast of Yemen. Also, this report is coming out from IOM. In 2024 alone, more than 2,000, in fact, 2,452 people have died. These are African refugees crossing Mediterranean Sea to go to migrate to Europe in search of a better life. Now, Libya has become a major transit point for migrants seeking to reach Europe, particularly since 2011 uprising that toppled long-time ruler. This is, of course, Reuters, how they write it after the president of Libya, Muammar Gaddafi, was assassinated or murdered, can we say. During the Gaddafi's rule, many African migrants worked in the oil-rich North African country. Today, Libya is home to an estimated 867,000 migrants. Many from East Africa go to, Sudan and then Libya, and then wait there to cross to Europe. So this is really a sad news. In fact, what I want to bring to you is that I don't have so much things to say, but this gets me every time to brings me kind of a confrontation with other my African brothers and sisters, because with migration, first of all, I mean, do not be fooled, do not take anyone's word, because most of the migration, Africans migration, is happening within the continent. More than 80%, this is research based, more than 80% of Africans migration happens within the continent. It's just 20% or less of it happening outside of the continent. That, bear it in mind. It's really an important fact. And once you know that, then you would be advocating for a borderless Africa, for governments to allow free movement of people, goods, and services, so that people, and that has a lot of benefit for Africa, in fact, in terms of economy, boosting tourists, that cultural exchange between African countries, brothers and sisters. When people at the border become are engaged with the trade exchange with the next countries that they are sharing a border, if any conflict arise, they will be the ones, they are going to guard their peace and security, because they do not want to disturb that business going on between the two people across the border. So it has a lot to do, because our condolences to our people, but this is always, we have to blame it on the government, who are doing really less to give a better life to the young people of Africa. I mean, a lot of people annually they pay thousands and thousands. So it's not just those who are not, who are not well off in economies that are trying to migrate, but also those who are well off, who can pay human traffickers a crazy amount of dollars. They also, not by the sea maybe, but they get their visas and everything through corruption, and then they fly out. So we pay a lot of money to human traffickers. So in fact, it has become now, it's the rich man's business. That's what migration is. It's a rich man's business. But our governments, I mean, because why I say that, this brings me to a confrontation with my African brothers and sisters, because most of them, the reason is that because these people are economically impoverished and they are going there for a better economy. Um, but how about, I mean, for how many things are we going to point our fingers just on Europe or this, former colonizers? But how about pointing the finger at ourselves and to the failed governments that are not really providing what is needed to their people? So unless we start to do that, in fact, we are making to easier, we are making it, whenever we point finger to the outsiders, to Europe or to the West, we are making it easier to our heads of state, so that they just continue to do what they are doing as if we are comfortable with it. So please, when it comes to migration, I beg to differ from most of my Pan-African brothers and sisters that the problem is within the continent. The problem is with our failed governments. So let's try to do better with that. Let's try to advocate, in Africa, for borderless Africa, for free movement of people, and then for our governments to take responsibility instead of just filling those banks in the Western world or in Europe. Then how about we tell them that it's time to change the blood, actually, and you need to give a chance to those who are going to do better to the people. That's all I have to say. Again, our condolences to those who have lost their lives in Sudan. As you all know, we have this forgotten conflict or war, and nobody's saying anything. In the midst of it, people are losing their lives in every way. Let us know in the comment section, what do you think of this? That was it for now. Thanks again. Bye bye.